Good morning, students. Now coming to cloning vectors. You know the restriction enzymes and the function of restriction enzyme in previous class. Cloning vectors are also one of the. Cloning vector is also one of the tool required for recombinant DNA technology. So vector means the DNA which is used for transferring the alien DNA into a host, that is called vector. The DNA which is used for transferring the gene of interest means target gene, means desired gene into a suitable host, that is considered as vector. So it is nothing but DNA. The DNA which is used to transfer the alien DNA into the host is called vector. Okay. Similarly, the vectors which are used for multiplication of gene of interest, that is called cloning vector. They are called cloning vectors. So definitions for vector and cloning vectors are: the DNA which is used for transferring gene of interest into the host is called vector. The vectors which are used for multiplication of gene of interest is called cloning vectors. Generally, the most widely used cloning vectors in recombinant DNA, plasmids, okay, and bacteriophages. Bacteriophages means the viruses which attack bacteria are called bacteriophages, and also plasmids. Okay, Cas is equal to the site of incorporated phase. Site of incorporated phase. This is Cas, and artificial chromosomes. Okay, and all these they can be used as vectors in recombinant DNA technology. 1. Plasmids, 2. Bacteriophage viruses, 3. Plasmids, site of phase incorporated plasmid, and artificial chromosomes. They are most important and widely used recombinant vectors. Similarly, these type of plasmids are most widely used. Plasmids are mostly widely used vectors in recombinant DNA technology. But what are plasmids? For example, this is bacterial cell and this is nuclei. Bacterial cells, they also contain some additional extra segments of self-duplicating DNA molecules. These circular extra segments of self-duplicating DNA fragments present outside to the nucleoid, that is in cytosol, that is called plasmids. These plasmids, they carry few genes, okay, and they are inheritable. They carry few genes and are inheritable, and they confer some unique features to these bacterial cells. For example, resistance to antibiotics. Resistant to antibiotics. Okay. At the same time, these plasmids are an ideal vectors in recombinant DNA technology. Why they are considered as ideal vectors? These plasmids are there are so many benefits of these plasmids. These plasmids, they can be easily isolated and easily reintroduced into any vector. They can be easily identified, easily isolated from the bacterial cells. At the same time, they can be easily reintroduced into the bacterial cells after the insertion of gene of interest. So that these plasmids are ideal plasmids in recombinant DNA technology. Okay, at the same time, in addition to these natural plasmids, apart from these natural plasmids, there are some artificially restructured plasmids. Artificially restructured plasmids. What are artificially restructured plasmids? One is PBr322. One. Plasmid Bolivar Rodriguez. Name of scientist B. Bolivar or Rodriguez. Plasmid of Bolivar and Rodriguez and PUC, plasmid of University of California. Plasmid of University of California. University of California, 19101. These are artificially created plasmids and are widely used in recombinant DNA technology. When compared to natural plasmids, artificial plasmids are widely used in recombinant DNA technology. Okay, they are artificially restructured plasmids. Students, these plasmids and bacteriophages, they have the ability to replicate inside the host, independent of chromosomal DNA. They have the ability to replicate inside the host independent of host chromosomal DNA. Particularly, these type of plasmids, one copy is present in some members, but in some members, 15 to 100 copies may be present in the cells. When compared to these plasmids, bacteriophages, they are very small in size, so that these produce a high copy number inside the host because of very small size, because of their very small size. Okay, when any desired copy of DNA is inserted into this plasmid, automatically this desired gene, it undergoes multiplication, leading to the formation of several copies. Why these desired genes must be incorporated with the vector? Why they are not directly inserted into the bacterial cell? When they are directly inserted into the bacterial cell, they do not multiply, because multiplication of DNA, it requires special sequence of DNA at which the replication starts. That is called origin of replication. Origin of replication necessary for multiplication of this DNA, desired DNA. So, due to presence of origin of replication in these plasmids, first we must ligate these desired genes with the plasmid and are able to maintain the replication inside the host. Now coming to features. Okay, cloning vector features of cloning vector. So cloning vectors, they contain some properties. First property, that is origin of replication. Origin of replication. This is ORI, origin of replication. So origin of replication means the special sequence of DNA which is responsible for the initiation of replication. The site of the sequence of DNA which is responsible for initiation of replication, that is called origin of replication. When any desired gene fragment, when it is if it is ligated with this ORI, automatically this desired gene, it undergoes multiplication and it produces several copies and it leads to gene cloning. Okay, when a desired gene is inserted with this ORI, it has the ability to replicate truly inside the host. This replication, origin of replication is not only responsible for the initiation of replication, it also responsible for managing the copy number. It is also responsible for controlling of high copy number, controlling of high copy number, controlling of high copy number. If we want, if we want to produce several copies of desired genes, we must ligate this desired gene with the ORI whose sequence is supported to high copy number. High copy number. So, is responsible for origin of replication and as well as replication. This is ORI is also responsible for controlling of high copy number. If we want to produce several copies of desired genes, first we must ligate this desired gene with the ORI whose ORI is supported to high copy number. So, this is the importance of ORI. Now coming to the second one, this is selectable markers. Selectable markers. Once the desired gene is inserted into the host, once there is recombinant DNA is inserted into the host, these selectable markers they are necessary to isolate, to identify and elimination, to isolate and to eliminate the non-transformates. To identify, for isolation and elimination of these non-transformates, selectable markers they are highly useful. Selectable markers they are used for identification and elimination of non-transformates, and it allow only the transformates, selective growth of transformates. Generally, in case of this E. coli host, antibiotic resistant genes used as selectable markers, that is tetracycline and ampicillin, and chloramphenicol and kanamycin. These type of antibiotic genes, these type of antibiotics they can be used as selectable markers for identification and elimination of non-transformates and allow the selective growth of only transformates. In case of E. coli has no resistance for against this type of antibiotics, so that antibiotics like tetracycline, ampicillin, chloramphenicol, kanamycin, they are used as selectable markers in case of E. coli host. Now coming to the third one, this is cloning sites. Okay, so in order to insert the recombinant, in order to insert the desired genes into a vector, this vector it must be cleaved, it must be opened by using restriction enzyme. So cloning sites, very few cloning sites that facilitate the action of endonuclease enzyme, preferably only one cloning site. Vector with very few cloning sites, preferably only one cloning site. Only one cloning site is considered as an ideal vector. When more than one cloning sites, when they are present in vector for the same enzyme, it leads to the formation of several fragments. Ultimately, total process will be complicated. To make it is very easy. Only one, preferably only one cloning site. Vector with only one cloning site is very suitable, very ideal vector. Now coming to the fourth one, molecular weight. So molecular weight, the cloning vector, it should have very low molecular weight. Very low molecular weight is necessary. They are considered as the cloning ideal, the features of cloning vectors. Students, now to coming to very important. By using EI plasmids of Agrobacterium tumefaciens, okay, Agrobacterium tumefaciens. By using the EI plasmids of Agrobacterium tumefaciens, these Agrobacterium tumefaciens, it also cause a crown gall disease, and once this bacterium it is attacked the host cell, it releases tDNA, tumor DNA. Now this tumor DNA, it converts the healthy plant cells into the tumor cells. Tumor cells. Now these tumor cells are forced to produce the proteins required by this pathogen. Okay. At the same time, retroviruses, they cause cancer in animal cells. They cause cancer. It converts the normal animal cells into cancer cells. By using genetic engineering process, tumor-inducing genes of Agrobacterium tumefaciens and cancer-causing genes of retroviruses, they are completely eliminated. Now they are converted into disarmed pathogens. Now these disarmed pathogens, they are used as vectors in the recombinant DNA. So they are converted into disarmed pathogens, and now these disarmed pathogens of retroviruses and TI plasmids of Agrobacterium tumefaciens, they are used as ideal vectors in case of plants and animals respectively. Now coming to the most important point, this is competent to host. Just before the insertion of recombinant DNA into the host, first host it must be competent to take up the recombinant DNA. Competent to the host means DNA, this is a negatively charged molecule. Okay, and DNA is negatively charged molecule, and the membrane, this contain DNA is a hydrophilic molecule, but membrane is a hydrophobic membrane. In order to insert this recombinant DNA into the host, first the host it must be treated with a divalent cation, that is calcium. This calcium treatment, it renders the cell wall and plasma membrane of bacterium make it porous. Number of pores are formed. Now bacterial cells, they take up the recombinant DNAs through these pores. That is called competent to the host.